happy Passover. You're up front with Frank. We're on Sky's Crescent Radio, broadcasting everywhere you could think of. We are now, well, of course, if you're seeing me here, well, you know we're live on Twitch. You know also that later on we're going to be, it'll be the replayed on YouTube. Again, it's Sky's Crescent Radio. We have a couple of pages going where it's shared to on Facebook, which is, of course, the Upfront with Frank Rothstein page, and, of course, the Sky's Crescent Radio page. I'm going to start billing the company for saying Sky's Crescent Radio. I could make a fortune here. Sitting with me, as always, today in a gray shirt, sort of matches the stormy weather coming. It is the very silent, because she's not going to talk today, Jade Zabrick. Hello, Jade. Jade kept the quiet holiday season going on. She's been playing with her new equipment, rearranging her studio, and typing in the word howdy. She's a woman of few words. Writes long songs, nice long lyrics, but when you talk to her, she's a woman of few words. So I get a howdy. I take it as love. How was everybody's holiday? How did everyone do this year? So we know that on the holidays, whether it's Easter or Passover, all the kids get a chance to make a few bucks. I mean, if you're celebrating Easter, it's always an Easter egg hunt. That's where people take perfectly good food, hard boil it, paint the shells, and hide it somewhere, usually in plain sight, so a little kid could find it, who knows what the going rate is. And the same thing in the Jewish religion. We just crack up matzahs, and we have a matzah hunt around the house. I don't know what the kids are getting, but, you know, little kids do them pretty well. How do I know little kids do them pretty well these days? Well, I was talking to a friend of mine, and she has two children. Her oldest daughter is now, I don't know, 5. She talks to me, she knows me, and says, I lost my tooth. So she lost her first tooth, shows me his big grin, and the middle tooth has come out. So I was talking to Mom. I said, so what is the going rate of the tooth fairy these days? She said $20. I mean, I don't know what everyone else got as a kid. I didn't get $20 as a kid. Well, that would have been a long time ago, but even the dollar then wasn't worth 20 now. Jade, how much did you get for your first tooth? What was the going rate for the tooth fairy? Yeah, all of you out there, type in a message wherever you happen to be seeing this and tell us what you got for the tooth fairy, because kids are getting a fortune. Then again, I was looking at a 6-year-old kid, the 5-year-old kid, telling me about her teeth and her money while she's looking at a $700 tablet where she's playing video games. And her 2-year-old sister is playing with an iPhone. So, you know, it's just the way kids are now. That means, since this kid is about 5, maybe, that by the time she has a kid, if she has a kid, she would be in the age range, more than likely, let's just say the average of 25 to 30. What will $20 today go for, say, 25 years? I think she'll be giving up $25 to her kid, or 30 by the time that kid loses a tooth. It's pretty good being a kid these days. You can start out fast. Give it to the kid in a big wad of signals so they can fan it out to all their friends and show what they got. Oh, well. So anyway, the holidays are filling, as always. I always do damage. This year, I, of course, cut the turkey again. Went to my aunt's house. We celebrated the feast with me usually using the usual dull knives, because got to have some dull knives. Even though the knife sharpener I bought, I think that's wearing out because the knives are too dull. I'm going to have to just buy some new knives. And I keep trying to tell people when everyone says, well, what do you mean by dull knives? Well, I mean, yeah, you can take a little skewer and go if you want and just try to sharpen it up a little bit. But no, we're beyond that. This needs a professional stone. And one day we're sitting there and I'm using the knife, trying to cut. This is about, I forgot how many years ago. And this is like really dull. And I'm fighting with this. I'm fighting with food. And I'm doing it. She's standing next to me. I said, and I take my other hand, I do this. And I say, you know, we have a problem. She goes, what? I said, I'm not bleeding. I got a knife in my hand, cutting away, and I'm not bleeding. That's how dull this knife is. So I immediately bought her a small sharp, which only I use. Next time I'm using a spoon. That's it. Well, there's always something going on in the world. Of course, we still have a war going on out there. We still have Florida's, excuse me, was it Pittsburgh, wherever, or Philadelphia is looking to reinstate a mask mandate for, citywide for public areas. Florida is not going along with any mask mandates. Everybody's suing about the mask. That's okay. It's allergy season. I'm getting over a half a cold myself. I hope some very proud maskless person comes over to me while I'm in one of my twice a day, every day sneezing rages. And listen, I tested negative. So, what's going on in your world? Let's see. Actually, there is a lot going on in the world. Most of the news I got for a rarity is when in the last few days, because holidays go along and people get a little slower out there, except the nut jobs, because we had a few mass shootings over the weekend. Can't go a weekend without that. Alabama, Pittsburgh, anywhere you go, somebody's got a gun and someone's got to use it. But one thing that caught my eye, you would think it's pretty harmless. And it should be, really, just by nature of it. I don't see the harm in it. But, we all know Representative Ilhan Omar, and she's being criticized she was sort of criticizing in a roundabout way a video of showing people singing Christian songs on a plane. And it says, and I will just reading it word for word. Representative Ilhan Omar has come under fire for deriding a video showing passengers singing Christian songs aboard a plane and wondering what might happen if her Muslim family also held a prayer session on a flight. She's out of Minnesota, Democrat, who shared the video with two people are seen singing the spiritual songs in the aisle of an EasyJet flight. That's according to the Daily Dot. I think my family and I should have a prayer session next time I'm on the plane. How do you think it will end? Well, I'm pretty easy about anything, And there's some great music in religion, and I listen to a lot of great music, and I'm here having an itchy day, as you can see. Sorry. See, there we go again. So people want to sing, people want to pray. Knock yourself out. So I don't know what the flight was like. There's a lot of turbulence. A lot of people were praying. But, on an easy plane, if you want to say a prayer or two, I think knock yourself out. Video caption, worshiping Jesus 30,000 feet in the air, was shot and posted on Instagram on April 9th by Jack Jens Jr., who founded a group called Kingdom Realm Ministries. That's according to TMZ. Jesus is taking over the flight, he wrote. Several Republicans, of course, ripped Omar for the anti-Christian sentiment. I personally didn't take it as an anti-Christian sentiment. No, I really didn't. Why do I understand what she's saying? And maybe it's because I'm Jewish, because Muslim prayer session, if that entails everyone getting on the floor on rugs and facing east, of course east, especially if they're flying east, and getting on the rug and bowing and doing all this and loudly praying, well, on a flight, that may cause a problem because, well, it may cause a problem. Me being Jewish, well, if I get a bunch of Orthodox Jews, especially Hasids, and we go on and want to have a prayer session, and we call it davening. Davening is just praying. But if you've ever been in an Orthodox ceremony, you'll see a lot of people, praying. There's a rabbi up there, conducting, and you have a lot of people doing this. They're pretty much just going to the beat, they're talking, and they're going and they're going. And pretty much, that may not make people comfortable. Again, it doesn't mean anyone's against your personal religion, but it may not make everyone comfortable where they have no option to either step back and allow you your space or leave. I mean, again, you're in a plane. Where are you going to go? How many people can go to the bathroom? So somehow, I'm not against prayer of any kind, but somehow I get her point. Maybe it's because I'm Jewish. And I know if I stood up there in Hebrew and started, doing my thing with a guitar, you know, since I didn't get to hear the actual prayer session, so I don't know exactly what it sounded like. People praying look pretty happy, but saying Jesus has taken over your flight may be a bit. Yeah, Jesus has taken over this flight, he wrote. Maybe that might not be the best thing to say. And standing in the middle of the aisle and doing all that. So anyway, I don't know that Representative Omar should have said that, given that she may want to run for office again and may want a few votes. Me, whatever. Here's a picture of one guy with a guitar in his hand and some guy sitting in a chair looking just miserable because he's got nowhere to go. Yeah, that's just it. That's pretty much how I saw it. So feel free to comment on it. Let me know what you think, whether you're on Twitch with us or, anywhere else that you may be. We want to hear what you think. We always want to hear what you think. Let's see. What else? What else have I got? Oh, yeah. Remember we were talking about banned books for a while? A few months ago, we were talking about books, book being banned down south for one subject or another. Well, this isn't the 1940s anymore or the 1950s. It's 2022, and now there are banned book clubs being formed. It says when Jocelyn Diffenbach learned about the efforts in Texas to remove certain books from school libraries and classrooms, she was surprised by the titles that were being challenged. And of course, she's a big reader in an eighth grader from Kutztown, Pennsylvania, said she had read several of the books in questions. Eighth grade, pretty good. And among the titles that came under attack in recent years were The Hate You Give. This is a novel about a young Black girl who grapples with racism, police brutality, and All American Boys. And the novel was a book about two teenagers, one Black, one white, who contend with similar issues. Okay. And you get the idea. But there were some classics that were also banned. Anyway, they're forming a book club. Okay. They're forming a book club. I think that's pretty good. And the New York Public Library is making banned books available for free. Well, I expect they'll all be taken out. Why? Because for people who never read any of them, or a few of them, they'll want to know what you're talking about. People now want to know what you're talking about. You can't just tell a kid anymore, don't do this. They just shut up and listen. It's a book. It's a book. What could possibly be going so wrong, so bad in a book? Was it Florida that's banning certain math books because it may contain subject matter on critical race theory? It's a math book. So I don't know what you're banning. It's a math book. But in the case of the books that have been banned, there are plenty who want to know what's going on so terrible out there. And then people are forming clubs. And I like the public library sticking to it. They're giving it up for nothing. That means if you just bring it back, you don't. As a kid, a nickel a day. I don't know what the going rate is. Well, much like the kids now get $20 for a tooth, it could be $15 a day. That's another story. But yeah, that's what's going on with the banned books. People want to know. One story I saw that you may have seen this gesture on TikTok. Has anyone ever seen those TikTok videos? Jay, do you ever see those TikTok videos where you see a woman or a kid doing this with their hand? That is a hand signal that was created for TikTok videos about people, usually women or children, who are in trouble. Whether it's a guy or some situation, usually it's a guy who's taking a child or trying to take a woman against her will, where they're getting into an elevator or something. But there's usually someone coming, and it's set up where at some point in time, she is getting the attention of somebody. If she knows that you're right behind her, her hand goes behind her back, or maybe the guy in question is looking the other direction, and some way or another, she gets her hand up, and the thumb goes in, the fingers go down, and this has now become an international sign of, I need help. And that's what happened in Tennessee. A woman needed help, and she gave someone the signal. It was someone in the store, as a matter of fact. We get to the story. Actually, it's Nancy Grace who did it. So anyway, someone recognized who gave the story, I should say, Nancy Grace. I saw it on Fox News. Somebody in a store recognized the signal. Excuse me, it was at a gas station. Recognized the signal, called the police, and the police somehow got there in time. I didn't read if he stalled them a little bit, or maybe she found the reason to stall, or the police just happened to get there fast. But she was saved because a social media created thing, this, came into effect. And there you go. Somebody was saved. Go TikTok. Yeah, that's just what happened. And that can happen in any situation. Did you know that if you go into a bar, I think it's still in effect, that if a woman walks up to the bartender and wants to buy a drink for Angela, or asks if Angela is working, it's like a signal to the bartender that you're in trouble? Something's wrong. The person you're with, you don't feel safe, something's wrong, and you walk up to the bartender and ask for Angela, or look to buy a drink for Angela, or something like that, or some variation of that name. And most bartenders know what that means if they're sharp enough to pick up on what you're saying. Of course, unless you're really with the person named Angela. But yeah, there are some social little tips that do come in handy. What else is going on in the world? Well, a lot of odd, stupid stuff, which I'll get to in a little while. This one here, this is not odd, this is not stupid. Well, actually, this is very stupid, but it is not something I joke about. Got this off Associated Press today. Me with the today's story. And the headline reads, abortion training under threat for med students and residents. So the med students and the residents who are just out of their training, they're having trouble getting instruction on how to perform this procedure. And it says, and it starts with, browse any medical dictionary, and before hitting an appendectomy or anesthesia, you will find abortion. The first two procedures are part of a standard physician education, but for many U.S. medical school students and residents who want to learn about abortions, options are scarce. New restrictions are coming up. Lots of laws and bills being passed. They're coming up for the midterm elections. You know, Republicans want to start padding their pockets. You know, they want to start, putting those packages in, see what they can do. And doctors coming out of the training session of their career are having problems. So what are they doing? Well, they're finding doctors or someone who is well-versed, usually doctors, on their own time, who will show them. And yeah, right now it says within the past year, bills or laws seeking to limit abortion education has been proposed or enacted in at least 8 states. Proposed or enacted. All right, I promise you those are red states. When you look when they show you the election map, you see red and blue, or whatever color that is for undecided, red. Yeah, so This is not a, to me, it's not a question of whether you agree with the practice or the procedure. It really is. It's not, it's just a matter of what your preference of how medicine should go or how motherhood should go. This is, a doctor is in training. A doctor is in training to save lives, presumably to save lives. That's what we're always thinking. Someone comes into a hospital on some emergency, something's up, and mother is in danger. Maybe the baby's, hopefully not. Maybe the baby's already gone. Something's up, and the baby has to come out. Pregnancy has to be terminated. You would like to know that the doctor in front of you could at least take care of it. And as time goes on, and these states and all these laws go on, the generations of newer doctors coming out of school grow. I mean, every year someone's graduating all the time from somewhere. There's always a school, with a graduating class. And in Oklahoma, a couple of schools don't have it, and a couple of hospitals, I should say. And yeah, I'm reading this as a doctor who says if he wanted to learn how to do colonoscopies, he would work with school staff or shadow a doctor. But someone's outside again. There's always an emergency during my show. Anyway, so this is, the world is my prop, people. If someone 3 miles away needs help, we have to clear the way. Anyway, so as I was saying, to limit or censor the education that a doctor receives, a potential doctor receives, I think is a horrible way to proceed. Because I want to know whether they ever have to do it or not. We're not talking about some specific specialty like heart surgery or brain surgery. We're talking about something that may be needed to save someone's life in some sort of an emergency, whether it's in the ER now or whether they have a day to think about it or something. Maybe the baby is too ill. I mean, again, your personal preference or beliefs about the subject, self-abortion, is your business. I don't care. Nobody's supposed to care what you think. It's your business. But to limit a doctor's ability to be able to help patients in a hospital, in an office, that leaves me with what I've been saying for the longest time. They'll go back to back rooms somewhere. Because somewhere there's going to be somebody with medical training who knows how to do this, somewhere in a clinic, in a back room, who will go to abort the baby. Oh, shut up. But yeah, that is just what can happen. And I've been saying this for years. Especially if you're in places where there's not the best of health care. There are small towns, you may be in America, but not every little town has the greatest facilities. You're either going to a hospital or going to a clinic. And, sometimes it works out. It depends on the individual. But of course, you want health care to be available to all. You really do. You really want, especially you want emergency health care to be available to all. And when you limit the education that medical students receive or doctors who are looking to extend their medical knowledge receive, that's pretty bad. That is pretty bad. Well, they'll just go take a vacation and go overseas and learn from somebody who can teach them there. That's because I cannot believe any kind of a doctor really wants to practice their craft is going to settle for that. Well, we shall see. Right? We shall see. More to come. While we're here, look at that. We're almost halfway done. So as I was telling everybody, no, we're on Twitch right now, but we're also going to be sharing this to YouTube later on. We are sharing live to Facebook on the Skies Crescent Radio up front with Frank. And also, you can always go see us and check out the website, skiescrescentradio.com, SKYES, crescentradio.com. And also, Jade likes to be her own well-kept secret, but I can't allow any of that. Jade Zabrick has her own Twitch channel going on, and it's going pretty well. She recently started booting things up, and she gives her music tutorials and how she puts together a song with all the machinery. So go see Jade. Go to, of course, twitch.com/Jade Zabrick. See what she's got going on, and if you like what she's doing, give her a follow. Maybe, yes, Twitch people, she will raid a station near you. And yeah, is there anything you want to mention about that? Or am I covering your bases? I got her thumbs up. That means all is well. I'm not in trouble. Okay, so anyway, go check out Jade. She's put a lot of equipment into her studio and goes through a lot of trouble to show you at least putting it together. Then once she gets it, it's like water flowing. But little by little by little, she creates a song and explains how it's done, and then sings for you a couple here and there. And occasionally she does a little conversational wraparound and ask her a question, where you could write to her email at jadezabrick@gmail.com. And that is how it's done. Also write to skiescrescentradio@gmail.com. Maybe you want to try doing this also. See what you got to say. You could write to me at upfrontfrank@gmail.com. Ask me any question you want. And that pretty much is the business matters at hand. What else is going on in the world? Let's get to some really idiotic stuff. We had some. This story came out on April 13th. You know, a lot of times the stories come out a little after we talk, so right around the same time, you know, a little after we talk. Okay. When President Ronald Reagan was in office, someone tried to kill him. Someone shot him. John Hinckley Jr., if you're not a history buff. John Hinckley Jr. is out of prison. He got a man who tried to assassinate a president of the United States, and he's out of prison. This was 1981, so he's out now. He's out after 40 years. Okay. And he's got a country show coming up. He's now a country singer. He's got a sold-out show in New York City. I don't know how. On July 8th, he'll be at the Market Hotel. I can't believe this. This guy got out of prison. I hope he fails. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get a lot of things. I really don't get this. Well, let me see. He gets out to become a country singer. Son of Sam, David Berkowitz, wants to get out. He found God. He can't get out. Recently, the man who shot and assassinated Robert Kennedy, Sirhan, he can't get out. No. Well, there are still Manson family members still trying to get out, but no. There's a lot of people trying to get out. But John Hinckley did. And I couldn't help but listen to one of his videos. People are just going to go pay to see what this guy looks like, whatever the deal is. So anyway, yeah, this nut is getting himself a country show. If that's the case, I mean, I've never been arrested in my life. How much can I get for my ticket? How much are the tickets for his show? How much are they? $20 to watch this guy sing. What's his songs called? You let whiskey do the talking. Can't we get along? You and I are free. Okay. He is scheduled to be unconditionally released from remaining restrictions. Okay. Well, he's out, I guess, still on parole. Well, okay. There you go. I'm not buying a ticket. Hope nobody minds. So I was looking last week. This is a 7-day old story. I'm not sure if I talked about this the last time. This is came from from BBC. There's a microchip implant. It was right about here. Right? And people somewhere in your head, and people are now using that chip with their credit card information to pay for things. You know how you used to give you a credit card, or now you can put it on your phone and drop your phone on something? No. Now you have a chip in your head. And this has your information on it. And this is because of what it says. This is because a 37-year-old doesn't need to use a bank card or his mobile phone to pay. Instead, he simply places his left hand near the contactless card reader and the payment goes through. I don't know that I want a chip in my head to pay for crap. I really don't think I want that. I don't know about you, but that's not my thing. It really isn't. So somehow, again, you're being chipped, you're being scanned, you're this, you're that. Nah. That's not my idea of fun. Not my idea of useful technology. I say keep a couple of bucks in your pocket and buy that bottle of water, a cup of coffee, and cold hard cash. And not everything has to be high tech. Not everything has to be chipped or anything else for that matter. And look at me on my own screen. I'm looking at myself talking, not throwing myself off. And yes, for those of you watching me this week and do not know what's behind me, that is the Coney Island Cyclone, one of the oldest roller coasters in the world. I believe it turning 94 or 95 this year. It's made of wood. It's maintained very well. I think it has landmark status. It's one of the oldest roller coasters in the world. And still scary. Maybe not, but it doesn't do all the things that today's roller coasters do, but it still has that massive opening drop with the ricketing wood, and it can scare the crap out of everybody. Unfortunately, I've never been on it. I grew up a few blocks from it. Why? I hate heights. I can't do it. So anyway, yeah, that's just one of the downsides of hating heights. Okay. Speaking of Coney Island, I grew up near something called the Coney Island Freak Show. It would probably be a very incorrect thing to say today, but that's what it was called when I was a kid. Anyway, this is a guy known as Human Satan. He has done extreme body transformation. That's the way it's being referred to. He's put horns in his head. He's done whatever to his nose. There's no more eyebrows. There's lumps or whatever. He's scales, whatever, like you see on a lizard. Did whatever to his lips. And now, because he's celebrating the lack of masks, he cut off his own ear. I kid you not. He cut off his own ear. His name is Michael Faro de Prado. He has undergone extensive body modifications over the years, including dozens of tattoos, piercings, and customized his teeth to complete his devil-like image. The tattoo artist is now lopped off his ears after Brazil removed its mask mandate, which has been imposed due to the coronavirus pandemic. So pretty much this guy has found a doctor to, well, I'm sorry, but mutilate him. Yes, mutilate him. Somebody wants to have a marble stuck in the head, make look like they have a bump or pierce or whatever they want to do themselves. Go ahead. You're cutting off a perfectly good ear, both of them. That's bad enough you're doing it. The doctor doing it to me is mutilate. It's mutilation. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know that he can hear anything. Yeah, it's I'm looking at this. If there's stitching because they had to cut off an ear and they have to stitch the incision, well, I'm trying to figure out, can this guy hear anything? And I got to believe that the answer is no. But then again, okay, he wants to look like the devil. This is what he pictures the devil looking like. Good luck. Cut off his own ears. Then we get, can't go wrong with the story about wokeness. Okay. It says woke Arizona, the first diversity activist falsely accused black DJ of wearing blackface. This came out yesterday. Again, I cover these stories from the New York Post because they get everything, but this actually came out in another, according to the Arizona Daily Independent. Okay. It says two local diversity advocates in Arizona are taking heat after calling a school district racist for hiring a DJ to perform in a blackface, but it turns out the DJ was black. Stuart Roden and Jill Lassen, who specialize in diversity, equity, and inclusion, lambasted the Scottsdale Unified School District's Hoppy Elementary PTA, well, that's a long one, for its decision to hire Kim Coco Hunter, 56 years old, a local black DJ for a charity event. Both Roden and Lassen are involved in diversity work in the school district, slammed the school after seeing a picture of Hunter, only to later realize that his race, that is his race. Well, okay. They made, of course, the usual statement. They're insulted, all this kind of stuff. But they got it wrong. Let's just put it that way. They got it wrong. And I don't know how you rectify this. Let's see. Who you have? Jill Lassen was one of the diversity advocates. She is white. Stuart Roden, he is black, and accused Hunter of darkening his skin. Okay. Well, now. So of course, the DJ wants to know, was I not black enough? I'm laughing, but it's sort of sad. I mean, this is what people do out there. They have nothing better to do with their time. This is what they're looking for at a charity event. So I'm hoping they went there just for the event itself and stumbled across something. But again, they didn't investigate long enough or probably say hello to the guy. Anyway, so that's what happened. I didn't know there's a standard format look. I didn't know you have to have a standard look to be, if you're black. I didn't know this. Then again, I've been told I look Jewish. Well, not if you're standing behind me, which means something on my face says so. When people say you look Jewish, there's only one thing they're looking at. That would be my nose. But that's usually, you don't look. I would never have been able to tell. Who knew? Well, these two idiots didn't know. I hope they lose their jobs. I really do. I think certainly they're not qualified to do whatever it is they think they're doing. Anyway, so that's, gotta love the woke. The woke need to wake. That's the problem, as I see it. The woke need to wake. What else is going on here? Okay. Get a little crime going on here in New York City. 41 repeat offenders account for 147 thefts across the Upper East Side. That's according to the New York police. There's a few dozen career criminals known to cops are responsible for the lion's share of thefts across the Upper East Side of New York City. The 41 repeat offenders are responsible for a staggering 147 thefts across the upscale neighborhood, according to 19th Precinct Commander Melissa Egger. It's usually shoplifting. Yeah, 402 grand larcenies up 42%, 950 petty larcenies 52%, 57 robberies 46%, 35 car thefts 52%. Even the people at CVS, which has become a hotspot for this, they're recognizing people. They're coming in, they know what's happening. But then again, that's what's happened in this city. Because our last mayor, they took away all the bail reforms. Nobody gets punished. Matter of fact, unless you commit like a real act of violence, and you'll be out in a couple of hours. So, if you're going to do that, you might as well steal food you can eat right now. You're going to get picked up. You'll be out soon. At least you have a hot meal and your stuff. So yeah, people are, what are they stealing here? One shoplifter became known to the CVS, became belligerent at the pharmacy recently, tossing groceries and smashing open bottles of NyQuil and Dayquil. And that is because they steal a lot of cough syrup and cold products and makeup. Well, ladies need makeup, but cold syrup and cough syrup and cold products. Well, you know why? You can get nice and high. You can get a nice buzz going on with cough syrup. Matter of fact, if you can find a way to pocket some Benadryls, yeah, you'll loopy for a while. You'll be circling the airport in no time. Benadryl's good stuff. So yeah, that's what's going on. That is what's going on. Yeah, and people just can't do a thing. We don't want to offend anybody. So can't use any force if they start fighting with you. Can't do a damn thing. So people are stealing, and they can get away with it. And that's just is what's happening. People are getting away with it. Well, not sure what this mayor's plan is, but if you have 41 people making a career out of a certain neighborhood, any one neighborhood, yeah, it may be time to address the situation. Well, we're coming up fast. We're 16 minutes to the hour. In for sports, well, if you're into baseball, this is pretty impressive. It says 20-year-old Japanese baseball phenom Roki Sasaki throws 17 consecutive perfect innings, which is just too tough. Yeah. It says Japan's 20-year-old phenomenon Roki Sasaki almost did it again. Week after pitching his first perfect game in the Japanese professional baseball in 28 years. First time in 28 years. Sasaki delivered 8 more perfect innings Sunday before being pulled after throwing 102 pitches. Game was tied at 0 when Sasaki left, and his Lotte Marines wound up losing 1-0 in 10 innings because, well, you know what happens? The bullpen comes in. If you follow baseball, you know what happens. It's the bullpen. That this kid at 20 could throw perfect innings. If you don't know what a perfect inning is, that means nobody reached base, not by hit, not by walk, not by balk, not by error, nothing. You could pop it up, you could foul it off, but nobody got to base for 17 innings, almost 2 complete games. And unfortunately, it was 0-0 when he came out, because had there been any kind of a lead, his manager might have left him in there for the extra inning just to get the complete game and the no-hitter. But yeah, with nothing, this could be a 25-inning game. So they took him out. But that is incredible. What does concern me about a 20-year-old being able to do this, which he's incredibly talented, is he's young, and all the pitching he's doing, quality, it could affect his arm down the road. If anyone knows baseball, you know what Tommy John surgery is. Seems like it's in the contract. Everybody has Tommy John surgery. That's where they do the ligaments, they repair everything, and your arm's supposed to be better than new. And that was created many, many years ago when the LA Dodger pitcher Tommy John had the surgery. And that's just where they got the name from. Whenever I forgot what it's really called, I have to look it up. But because he was really the first, they called it that. So yeah, look at that. Roki Sasaki. Wow. Pretty cool. And everything else is going pretty well. We're enjoying Twitch. We really are. We're enjoying everything that's going on out here. We like the idea that you're welcoming us and all that. And, we're gonna keep doing this out here for a while. We're enjoying it. It's become a good environment. I remember when Twitch first started, like everywhere else. It's iffy, it's a new thing. You don't know what's gonna happen. Excuse me. So, people are taking the chances. And of course it was all for gaming, like a lot of places, all for gaming. But as time went on, as you know, it built out, it expanded. And now you have talk radio, podcasts, music, everything out here. And it's working pretty well. It really is. It's working pretty well. And I have more listeners with me now than I've had in a while. I appreciate all of you for doing that. And, Jade and I talk. Jade Zabrick, if you just tuned in, is the one who runs this. Sky's Crescent Radio was hers. And every now and then we talk over ideas. She doesn't just do anything, which is pretty smart. She doesn't just jump into an idea face first, because you may screw up and go broke and have a problem in the path, in the process. But she does, think it over and explore first and do more research than I would ever do. And then got in here, and then whether it's her idea or it's something I came up with, she will expand on it very easily. And that's what's happening here. That's why we're rating other people. So if any of you have any kind of good snacks in your stream, when we raid you in a few minutes, I'm hungry. We're taking it. Don't worry, I won't come empty-handed. If you have a cake broadcast, I'm bringing the coffee. And we will be out here, at least for now. My time is the same thing every week, Monday at 5 p.m. Jade is adjusting her schedule for the Jade Zabrick page. So please go follow her and help out. Help out Sky's Crescent Radio also. We would love to have a few more followers. And if you can follow us on YouTube, that would be great as well. We appreciate everything. It's just a few clicks of the buttons. Costs nothing. And check Jade's schedule and see, Jade, if you could post your average time into the chat stream, that would be great. That way, she doesn't like to talk, but maybe you can sit there and screen cap what she's saying and keep up with it. You'll be able to write it down somewhere. And if Jade brings any food onto her stream, let me know and I'll be back and I'll grab that too. There you go. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. Sundays at 3. Look at that. How long do you go for? An hour? 2 hours? Look at this. I'm talking to her. She's typing. Look at that. I'm telling you, either she doesn't like the echoing in my ears, or she doesn't think I like her voice. But either way, she does talk when she's doing her show. She won't let me talk when she's doing her show, but she does talk. And that is the story. Yeah, look at that. We're doing 50 minutes today. Now I'm going to stretch this out a couple of minutes. So yeah, everyone, please follow us. We'd appreciate it. Give a little like. I don't know what the equivalent of like out here is. I'm used to other sites for likes or whatever it is we do out here. Send a smiley face. Let us know you like us. Send a little something, a little emoji of sorts that fits. There's a thumb up or a little fire. We want some virtual affirmation. We want something out of this. Yeah. But, send money, but we'll take a thumbs up. And everything else is going the same. Everything else is pretty good. I hope everybody had great holidays wherever it is you went. I don't hear of too many problems, too many crazy people out on these holidays, because if you're not with your family, they beat the crap out of you, so it's safe to stay home. So, you got to do all that. Me? One good thing about holidays is lots of leftovers. That's historically the thing. Lots of leftovers. I don't get some of the dishes, but lots of leftovers. I hope you enjoyed all of it. I hope you enjoy this show and what we're doing. If you have any suggestions, feel free to let us know. I'm always open for a good suggestion. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover, please write to us here. You can always leave a message on, I guess, on the Twitch, leave a message on the Twitch page. You can always leave a message for me at upfrontfrank@gmail.com, jadezabrick@gmail.com, skycrescentradio@gmail.com. I am not paying any rent to gmail.com, but we have a lot of space there. So yeah, feel free, let us know. And please follow us here and on YouTube. All right, everyone, it's been a pleasure talking to you for a while. I hope you get something out of these stories. They're not the headline news. They're not the most major events in all the world, which is why I purposely talk about them. And I hope you get something from it and you've enjoyed listening. I will see everybody next week. Everyone stay safe. I don't know. Enjoy dinner. Have a good night.